at 7 p.m. Roll call, Manager Silka.
Commissioner Stump.
Here.
Commissioner Atwood. Here. Commissioner Blasco.
Here.
Commissioner Zona.
Here.
Commissioner Bevan.
Here.
Commissioner Goss.
Here.
Commissioner Higas.
Here. Could everyone please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If any residents would like to speak tonight, if you could sign the book at the podium, please. Thank you. The first resident is Zach. If you could just come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Zach Davies, 14500 Michael Drive, North Huntington. I'm here today is my local fire department this past Monday had an automatic fire alarm at Golden Eagle Equipment. Guess what? No show again. How long are we going to keep doing this? Everybody pay taxes. We want fire service. It seems like you guys more care about the chickens than you do about the fire department showing up. I'm concerned. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to be up here every time. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. The next resident is Scott. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Scott Guest, 10 Bethel Road. I come to you guys in December about the corruption at Hartford Heights Fire Department's club. Well, this past week, I got voted out. I got expelled after 35 years of dedicated service because I was calling out the corruption. Dave Stone, who was the treasurer, resigned as soon as I did this. So that tells you right there there's something going on. I have from the meeting in February, $21,652 was made gross at the bar. A month later in March, $16,230. That's a lot of money. Where's it going? They also have illegal poker machines. There's no accountability. There's no transparency. They won't tell you where it's at. That's why I come to you folks for help. This is what I get. This letter telling me I'm expelled after all I've done for this community and everything. And I also want to say this. No money from that bar is going to that fire department. So when people are donating money, it's going into the general account. The general account is paying the utilities for that bar to keep that bar open. So people who are donating, it's not going to the fire company. It's going to keep a bar open. It's not giving any money to the fire department. Okay, I got a lot of things here I'm trying to, okay. Let me see here. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, take your time.
Give it up, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, everything I said was true. I'm an honest person, I don't lie. That's what upsets me more than anything, because I come to you folks, they find out about it, and I got that letter thrown out. There's more, and I just can't remember it all. So I do appreciate your time. One more final thing. If you guys can't help me, I'm going to have to go somewhere else to get help, because there's so much corruption going on up there. There's no transparency. No one knows where the money's going. I was a member there. I was actually on the bar committee. They wouldn't tell me anything. I asked about certain finances. The president lied at a meeting telling me that, and then he told me it was none of my damn business. So, thank you.
Thank you. Last resident tonight is Craig. His name and address for the record, please.
Craig Kokenar, 1978 Bernice Drive. I'm here on behalf of the North Huntington Township Fire Chiefs to discuss the Act 172 that was adopted in 2018. I take it you're all familiar with the Act 172. Why I'm here, we started that off at $250 1% earned income reimbursement to the local firefighters and EMS, and a 20% property tax reimbursement. The 20% property tax reimbursement is capped through the state, but the local 1% can be adjusted with the municipality itself. You know, you just heard it, you know, there's Members, recruitment and retention is a big thing, and it's throughout the country in the volunteer fire service, EMS, and so forth. I'm here to try to keep the retention and the recruitment, and a little bit of money, can keep definitely on the retention end of it. The recruitment also, we're involved with a county SAFER grant, and that is actually brought college tuition, stipends, money to the fire department itself through turnout gear and insurance policies for the firefighters themselves, which that goes a long way, especially for the college tuition. Some of our members have actually turned around throughout the county and got a max of $20,000 towards reimbursement for college or some type of trade school. That ends this year. It was a FEMA grant, and it is up. It'd be nice that we get another one. We will try to do that as fire departments throughout the county again from talks, hopefully. But as a municipality itself, it'd be nice to see that 1% wage tax go to a cap of $500. Fuel, wear and tear on vehicles, as we're coming and serving the community on our own time. It's something there for the time being. Having to put a paid fire service in North Langton Township is going to cost the taxpayer a lot of money in the township. Any little bit for the members that we still have serving this community would be great. And if we can get more, just try a little incentive for the firefighters that we have and some people we can maybe try to get. Any questions on the Act 172? No? Okay. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. All right, response to citizens' input. I believe Zach and Scott were kind of about the same thing with the Hartford Heights Fire Department.
Well, mine was a little different.
Yeah. I believe, Jeff, you were going to talk to the fire chiefs about the response time or dropping calls for that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're still in the process of
Okay.
doing that. I have some,
All right. And then, Scott, I would just maybe follow up with you. If you have any type of formal complaint, maybe reach out to the police department or the police chief if you haven't done.
I've already done that.
Okay.
That's where this all comes from.
Okay.
And they found out, and they're trying to shut me up, which just lit a fire under my rear end
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah, I would just work with the police department, and we'll see what we can do to help you in that avenue.
I mean, something's gonna happen.
Yep.
I'm giving it to you. I don't lie.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the facts.
Yeah, I would just work with them. I mean, as a board, we won't be able
And
to.
touch a little bit on what he said about.
If you want to come back up to the podium, if you
Yeah,
want to
sorry,
talk a
yeah.
little bit more, that's fine.
Sorry. About the retention.
Yeah.
When you have people up there treating people the way they do, who the hell wants to fight fire for them anymore? I did it for 35 years, and I got treated like that on my way out. Why? Because I wanted to know where this money's going. It's so corrupt up there. They won't tell you. There's no transparency, and they threw me out. They took away my benefits for my time that I did, my life membership. I got it all taken away. It don't hurt me. It hurts my kids for my death benefit. That's what they do. They're disgusting people. They're crooked, and they're corrupt. And something needs done. Thank you.
Any other response, citizen input? All right. Work session discussion topics. Manager Silka.
Okay, I have a few. Let me get my Surface running here. And we'll Okay, the first item I'd like to discuss with the board tonight is the first quarter financial review. As you know, I generally don't do first quarter financial reviews because the first quarter is not a quarter where we track much income and we basically spend expenses waiting. But I think in light of our monthly budget discussions that we started last month and going to have, I think it's kind of a good exercise to go just to see what, the first quarter requirements are, what we typically spend and how much we typically bring in. Just to kind of take a look at the first quarter from 2018 through 2021, every year is a deficit year. Our expenses roughly range, from the high to almost around $3 million each year. And then our revenue, it tracks pretty close to about 2.5 million every year. So what that shows is that we have a deficit in the first quarter. However, in municipal government, everybody has a deficit in the first quarter because the tax cycle doesn't go out till mid-March. Then we start getting our revenue towards the end of March. So as you see our deficits for the last 4 years, ranging 112,000 last year and 20 because we've basically crunched down the budget. We didn't spend anything. COVID hit, and we really started not expending, especially on materials and supplies. And then we went in 2019. You'll see we had $930,000 deficit, but that was when we had Haywood Road. So we had an anomaly. We like not to have anomalies, but we never know how, that's why they're anomalies, because they don't do it. How do municipalities bridge the gap from January to April? And there's two ways. One is you have surplus funds to use to cover your gap, and then they're replenished throughout the year once tax revenues come through. Or the second is you take out what's called a tax anticipation loan, a TAN loan. And the TAN loan gives you the year to pay it back, but it bridges you that gap if you don't have sufficient funding. So, as you saw in the previous slide, our deficits, our true cash deficits are between 112,000 and 930,000. However, our true cash needs are greater than that. Since we do get revenue towards the end of March, there's revenue offset towards the end of the quarter. However, if you take a look at, the graph of the use of surplus from 2018 to 2021, you see we're from 2.1 million to 876,000. Again, 2019 was Haywood Road, so we had a lot of expenses up front. So what you average out to is, for the first quarter, we need roughly about $1.5 million to safely get through. And that's notwithstanding anything. That is simple, the operation of the township. It may fluctuate if we have a heavy winter in the first quarter. If January and February and March see snow, we have to buy more salt and more overtime. But if you average those out, about $1.5 million is the cushion we're going to need going forward for every first quarter, whether it be with surplus funds available to spend or having to take a TAN loan to get through. So I just wanted the board to see this, that the first quarter is all spending, very little revenue, and all the revenue comes in the last 2 weeks of March. So it's not like we somehow can bring it in earlier. It just comes in once the tax bills goes out, and the early payers like to be there, line up to be the first to pay, so they help us out. And our only other really big chunk of revenue through the first quarter is in January, we'll get our fourth quarter earned income tax, which is roughly about $1 million. Then that kind of soothes us out, and then we take our checkbook balance and our surplus to get it through, and then as the tax revenue comes in through the second quarter, we then replenish our coffers and we're able to do the year. But I just want to get that note out that 1.5 million is probably the key number that we need to have to get through till April 1st. And again, this year's tracking just like every year. It's, we had what I'd call a normal winter. For a lot of people, it says it's a heavy winter, but I think, statistically and, operationally, it's a normal winter for Western Pennsylvania. We got, kind of complacent the last couple of years when we didn't have any winter. So, first quarter, no problems, no really spikes, no big anomalies. However, we know that, we do have the surplus to cover it this year. But as part of your discussions and your thought process going forward, just keep the number 1.5 million in your mind. And that, I'll wrap that up for the first quarter review. It's simple because we don't do much. Okay, the second part I want to go over, Commissioner Higas asked, after the presentation on the budgets, strategic budget planning, if I can kind of get some comparisons of what other, percentages of budgets that other municipalities, spend within their budget. So what I did is I basically went to the municipalities that we use as comps for our police department. Because, we're the second largest municipality in Westmoreland County, but yet we're the largest probably operational, for what we provide. So, as I kind of took, and some of these I had to, finagle some of their budgets. If you go to their budgets, it may not work out to this because some things had to be loaded what we consider general government operations, public safety. But if you look at our administration and general operations budget, this includes the management, finance, insurances, and building and grounds for City Hall or, your township buildings. So we spend roughly 27% of our budget on that. Murraysville, 22%, McCandless, 14%, Peters, 30%, Monroeville, 32%, Moon, 26%, and Hampton, 26%. So we're pretty much right on the average for general operations. Police and public safety, this is police, EMS if it's funded, also the fire department stipends, not from general fund, fuel and foreign insurance subsidies. So we're at 39%, and dispatch is also in there. We're at 39%. Murraysville is 40% with a much smaller department. McCandless, 45%. Peters, 38%. Monroeville, 37%. Moon, 39%. And Hampton Township, 20%. So as you see, again, we cluster right in the mean of the other municipalities of our size. Public Works, we do 25%. 29% Murraysville, 23% McCandless, 22% Peters, 22% Monroeville, Moon 17%, and Hampton 17%. So we're pretty much in there. Again, on par with everybody else. Planning and zoning, we're at 3%, and if you look through, I think Moon's the highest at 5%, and Hampton's at 5%. They have a little bit greater staff, but so we're almost right on line with everyone else on planning and zoning. Parks and Rec, this is one that kind of bounces a little bit. We're at 6% for our Parks and Rec department, and we include all of our maintenance and maintenance labor in the Parks department. Not everybody does that. Murraysville is at 3%. McCandless is at 2%, with Public Works doing a fair share of the labor. Peters is at 7%. Monroeville is at 1%. All of their maintenance and labor costs are divvied through the Public Works Department, and they no longer have directors of recreation. That they've eliminated the management position. Moon's at 11%, and Hampton's at 8%. Library, Monroeville has a library, and Moon Township funds a library at 1%. I need to put those in so we can come up to 100%. Senior Center, Monroeville spends about almost $560,000 or $580,000 on a senior center. Sewer, Hampton runs sewer operations through their municipal authority or through their municipal government. Then transfers and contingencies and debt service, you'll see that. So I think as you look at the clusters of true comp communities, our budget really isn't outlandish on any of the percents. Our spending is pretty much divvied up as our peers do it. It's a general fund budget. We are at $14.1 million. Murraysville is the smallest community at $9.3 million. McCandless 16.2, Peters 13.9, Monroeville 35.6. The big, they do a lot other services. They also do sanitation out of their general fund budget, and they pay a complete separate sanitation crew that I didn't put in here because that really doesn't comp with anyone. Moon Township is at 16.5, and Hampton's at 14.7. Now, here's the kicker, simply crossing a county line. As you know, Allegheny County reassessed in 2011, 2012. So their values are 2012 values. 1 mil of real estate tax for North Huntington brings in $400,674. Murraysville, 1 mil brings in $343,000, roughly $300. McCandless, 1 mil brings in $3.1 million. Peters, 1 mil brings in $3.2 million. Monroeville, $2.8 million. Moon gets $3 million for a mill, and Hampton gets 1.9 for mill. If we would reassess in the county, we would probably be in the McCandless, Peters range of valuation of property. So as you kind of look at the millages that everybody does for general fund, we're at 9.23, Murraysville 7.25, and then McCandless 1.2, Peters 1.6, Monroeville 4, Moon 2.74, and Hampton 2.9. So the millage rates, it's hard to compare because it's just not apples to apples because of the reassessed value. But I did want to show you that for our budget, we're pretty much in line with the communities that we basically mirror.
Jeff, the only real number that jumps out at me is McCandless 14% for their admin and operations. Do you have any idea how they're operating at that low of a level? I mean, they're really below everybody else
Yes.
significantly.
Most of their clerks are part-time, and and they're non-union for their office clerks. They do part-time, and they have more clerical support blended through their other departments. So administration only has a finance and payroll. Everybody else's clerical support is included in their budget. So where they have staff, they have police secretaries, they have public works secretaries, those secretaries are born in those budgets. And what I can do is I can give you a little bit more analysis down the road on that if you'd want it.
Jeff, if I may, so, I see North Huntington Township millage at 9.23 for the year 2021. We have the highest millage. Is that because of reassessment with the other organizations? So,
Well-
in other words, if a reassessment is done and reassessment values go up,
Right.
millage can go down.
Oh, it has to go down.
It has to go down.
Yeah, I mean, millage has to go down because you can only gain, I believe, 5% more revenue on the first year of a reassessment. So that's why, if you'd go back to 2010, the Allegheny County municipalities were probably in the 12 to 13 mills. That's when mills were worth 500, 400, 500,000. Now a mill is worth 1 million. After the first year, you're free to go out the box, but you have to bring it down, and then you can only gain 5% on the first year of a reassessment.
And what was the last year we've had a reassessment in North Huntington?
Oh, in the county, it's, I'm going to say maybe 50s.
So we're based, our millage is based on the 1950s.
Yes, I mean, if you remember from the strategic,
Not millage,
Yeah.
excuse me, correction, reassessment.
our real estate value is basically on 1950s value. Our average house is assessed at roughly $40,000 for a tax assessment. So you buy a $500,000 house, and it goes through the reassessment with our averages, and it comes out at our tax base is $40,000 on that house.
On a 500,000.
And just, I know Norwin's off the top of my head. The average house in Norwin, as you blend all the, the different communities in Norwin, it's $20,000, a little bit over $20,000 is the average property in the Norwin school district. So that's why you can't look at our millages and compare them.
Right.
Because it's not apples to apples, because, our mill brings in 4, their brings 3 million.
And that is due to reassessment.
It is absolutely due to reassessment.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, let me go back to that.
Sure.
So if there was to be a reassessment, it cannot be greater than 5% in that first year.
Correct.
What about the second year?
It's to the statutory level. I believe it's 24 mills we go up to 24 mills, but if you're getting $3 million a mill, if you go 9 mills, you're at $27 million in your general fund revenue.
Right.
And that's,
So I got to be honest with you. The citizens of North Huntington Township are thinking, which is the lesser of the two evils? A millage increase or a reassessment?
well, the reassessment has to be countywide. A municipality in Pennsylvania cannot reassess.
Okay.
And and it's a very politically unfavorable opinion. And it's, I will tell you, living through two of them, one in Somerset County, where we went from 26.5 mills to 1.1 mil at a very affluent community that I worked at, and also through Allegheny County, both Monroeville and Robinson. It's 4 to 5 years of reassessments and refunds, but I don't think there's anybody that has the appetite to do a countywide reassessment.
Okay.
And it's, it's millions of dollars also to expend to do that.
Right. Okay.
It's very expensive. I've been through Indiana counties as well, and Allegheny. You spend a lot of money in the county, which the taxpayer pays for, and it really doesn't result in anything but a lot of aggravation for the tax assessment office at the county, because as soon as you start assessing people, they start appealing. And so it's one headache after the other. And it doesn't change the amount anybody pays.
Okay. All right, my next item is talk a little bit about the American Rescue Plan Act, which I think everybody's saw, a lot of articles, a lot of comments, and I just kind of want to let you know why I haven't updated you with anything, provided any information, simply because there's no information out there. Everybody saw, there's a couple spreadsheets. I've seen spreadsheets from where North Huntington was getting from 5 million to 3 million. Probably the last we're in line to get with the formula for population, roughly about $3 million. However, how that can be spent, and I've been to 3 webinars in the last month since it passed in March 11th. The latest one was today with the county. And there was an aid-on from Senator Casey's office. Treasury has 60 days from the time of passage to write the rules and to provide final allocation of funding. So that is going to come in about mid-May, May 11th or so. Treasury has to have the rules. Then once they have the rules written and the final allocation certified, they will send the money within 30 days to the state. And then the states have 30 days to send the money to the localities. So we will be getting money, and we will be getting it probably towards the end of June, early July. Now, how we can spend the money, we don't know yet, because the categories in the Act are broad. It's backfilling lost revenue from COVID, and then they're going to use the 219 revenue to 2020. And I can tell you, we don't have a lot of lost revenue between 2019 and 2020, so that's not good. What I can tell you, this isn't a stimulus check for municipalities where we got $3 million. We can go out and have fun and buy your manager a BMW so he can travel back and around. There's COVID-related upgrades. Air filter and air filtration is probably the one that hit my ear, because, as you know, we have the engineering study going on the HVAC system. And what I did is we were planning to go for bid this month, but I paused that because I didn't want to get into a problem where we can't backfill a previously approved project. So there's a good chance, and I'm also having them put in some alternate those air disinfectors that have come out. So there's a good chance we can use that to pay for the HVAC system. Not promising, but I think that is probably the one thing that we can actually use.
Did we not sue the previous HVAC and receive $350,000 in a lawsuit against the previous folks that attempted to put an HVAC unit in?
Yes.
And it failed?
But that money wasn't escrow. That money was put into the fund balance. So that's we don't have a $300,000 checking account.
Okay.
So that's one area that could take an expense that we're going to do anyway and take it. There's back hazard pay for workers. However, you're not allowed to use any of that for the pension ramifications. So if you up everybody's, you can do up to $15,000. If you give everybody who worked through the pandemic $15,000, you've also put an impact on your pension system that can't be back funded, and it's got to be forward funded through our MMOs. So that's probably not the best thing. Then there's water and sewer infrastructure projects. However, that's what it says. They don't tell you what. Is it new? Is it upgrade? Can we decide to build a new business park and sewer an area for a business park? So, and then there's aid that we can provide to outside, to commercial companies, whether it be grants or aid like that. So there's a lot of bullet points, but no detail behind the bullet points. It won't come out until next month. So I didn't want to get the board. I've read a couple articles where a police department's, buying body cams, buying video system, putting a new roof on their things. Well, I never saw anything like that. So what I'm going to urge you to do is wait. As soon as I know something that I can, give you an educated memo to and say, look, this is what we should start talking about. Now, the good part is we have till 2024 to spend the money, or give it to another agency to spend the money. So we're going to get it in two slots, 50% this year, 50% 1 year in 22. We'll get it the second 50%. Now, also, whenever we spend more than $750,000 in the federal money in any year, it's going to trigger a single audit. And a single audit has about a $25,000 fee with it because of the intricacy of the audit. And that's with every large federal grant of over $750,000 in any year. So it's going to come with costs, but I can't say that, what I can say is it's not going to be a free-for-all. It's not going to be a great way to fund anything. And then probably the one is, I don't think it'll affect us, is to use it to offset future taxes. One version said you can't use it. Then I think the last version that passed, that only the state is not able to offset tax reductions. But one thing I'll caution here, this is a one-time, allocation. This isn't something to count on, so this isn't something to probably plan for a foundation for anything other than we've got to receive this money. Let's see how we can spend it within the rules to benefit the township for the long run. Okay. The next item that I have is a proposed resolution for supporting House Bill 606 and Senate Bill 419 for local use of radar. Commissioner Blasco asked me to put this on, and I was able to modify this from the use of the Pennsylvania Municipal League.
Again, this is probably, for most of us, the biggest complaint that we get within the township is speeding. So again, asking everyone out there in the audience, what this is the PA General Assembly and Senate are finally looking to move forward on the allowance of radar in municipalities. So not that anyone wants to see red and blue lights behind them, but this is a great way to make our community safer. So I just ask you guys to, again, reach out to Representative Dunbar, Senator Ward, and ask for their support on this as well.
I just wanted to add that I saw today that they're going to require signage for that, and there will be a limitation to how much revenue the township is able to get from that.
Okay, and I do have one more additional that wasn't on the agenda, but the next one on the agenda is the Act 172 EIT rebate discussion that Commissioner Blasco had asked me to put on. I had this on for last month, and I was unable to attend the workshop.
Yeah, and again, we discussed it briefly in your absence there, Jeff. But just kind of give a rundown, as Craig had mentioned, there's two stipulations that you can qualify for. There's a 20% maxed out property tax, and as well as currently as what we can set as $250. We can modify that amount of the earned income tax. And there's a 1% tax, half of that percent is levied by the school district, half is levied by the township. So talking with Jeff a few months ago when we talked about this initially back in February, there was about $4,645.42 of firefighters that were able to claim those credits. So we're under $5,000. 15 firefighters maxed out at that $250 amount for a total of $3,750. Straw Pump and Hartford Heights currently do not participate in this program, but again, as I was talking with some of the fire chiefs, this is something that they are kind of desperate for, and the reason I brought this back up again so quickly, because I know that we mentioned maybe holding off until future budget presentations. When I went to Aldi the day before Easter and I saw that we have a commercial store closed in our township paying $12, $13, $14 an hour, and as Craig said, gas is up $3 a gallon, their wear and tear on their vehicles, it's their time away from their families. So I think this is a great incentive to offset the potential $2, $3, $4, $5 million paid fire department. So again, I'm glad to support you guys, and I'm hoping the rest of the board can support moving this forward.
You know, it's a shame sometimes that things come up later in life where those that have given so much to this community, Bob, Zach, Scott, rather, that they can't take advantage of that, given their current status. And for that, gentlemen, honest to God, I'm truly sorry. Shifting from that position, you know, these men and women do great things for our community. They put their lives on the line. There is no guarantee that anybody that fights a fire anywhere is going to come back unscathed. I have to support this wholeheartly, that, you know, based on what Brian said, it's currently at 20%, okay, and $250 stipend, okay?
20% cannot be altered.
20% cannot be altered, but the stipend of $250 can be altered, and it can be moved up to $500, or whatever, I assume, to a certain degree. With that being said, and I don't know if there is to be a motion on this tonight, I would like to see that be increased from $250 to $500.
Yeah, and I neglected to mention that, but thank you. So Jeff and I discussed that. So again, a person earning $100,000 would be maxed out at that $500, but you cannot earn more than what you pay. So if you're only paying $250 in your earned income tax, that's what you can max out. You cannot get reimbursed for more than what you owe. So potentially, not many firefighters may even qualify at this amount.
Right, and if I can add on to Brian, I know for a fact there are stipulations that have to be met. I's have to be dotted and T's have to be crossed. Just because, let's say we have 100 volunteer fire department, fire people, firemen, firewomen in our system, man, only 20 may qualify for this based on the dotting of the I and the crossing of the T. So this isn't going to be, I'm saying this only because I want everybody to know, this isn't across the board for every fire person, because you have to qualify for it first. And there are rules and stipulations, and this I has to be dotted and that T has to be crossed. And can I ask Craig if I am correct? Do I have the permission to do that? Craig, is what I'm saying true?
Yes, there's training, and there is a certain percentage of calls that have to be
Answered.
Yes.
Per person?
Per person.
Per person. Okay, so it's an individual merit.
Correct.
I like that. All right, thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion that we put this on the agenda for next Wednesday to modify our ordinance to change that earned income tax value to $500 from $250.
And I'd like to second that, please.
This is for the 2022 cycle, not for the
Correct.
2021 that we're already in the process of.
Correct.
We've already certified.
Yeah, it just,
That is correct.
just giving departments something to recruit with and maintain interest down the line.
And again, the sacrifice that the men and women make, and those that have made that sacrifice, Scott, 35 years. Brother, thank you. I don't know that it means a lot right now, but honest to God, thank you.
Doing the
Rich,
right thing
thank you for
isn't
your
easy.
service too.
Doing the right thing isn't easy.
Amen,
I
brother.
put everything, my reputation and everything, and got attacked by those people for wanting transparency. And you see what happens.
I do.
That's why that place is never gonna get any better. Because it's no longer a fire department with a social club that makes money for it. It's a bar with fire trucks. That's all it is.
Well said.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any
Sorry.
discussion on that?
Yeah, I seconded that motion.
All right. All those in favor by saying aye that want to put it on the agenda for next week?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, I put a memo at your stations from Chief Rizzo on body worn camera grant. The police department was able to receive a $24,634 matching grant for the purchase of body cameras. Now, I think everybody knows that $50,000 isn't going to get us the body cameras, but we did approve in the 2021 budget the financing for the $134,000. It's a 5-year plan for purchasing body cameras and and for the department. So this matching grant has to be approved by the governing board. It'd be for $24,634. We would match the same amount, which we already have budgeted in the 2021 budget and going forward for this obligation. I don't think the board should have any problem accepting a grant to write off $25,000 off the purchase of our body cameras. But I did want to get it to you. It'll be on the agenda unless there's consensus not to put on the agenda to approve next week.
And Jeff, with what's left over for the police department to pay, if I can recall people's memory, I brought back up a conversation on a police officer's ball. There are some beautiful people in this township that want to help financially, that I know that would be willing to step up. And the grant covers for $24,600 some change, and then we're left with a balance. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're $135,000.
Okay. And I know that there are people in this community that would be willing to assist in that. There's just it's business smarts. It's advantageous for some of these business owners to do such things for tax breaks and so on and so forth. But I also would like to see a police ball thrown in there to assist them.
I think generally when you have those types of balls and fundraisers, they're from benevolent associations, nonprofits. They're not sponsored by the municipality because we would have to we would have to then approve public funds to book a hall, pay a caterer, pay a band, and we could actually lose money on the deal if nobody buys tickets. So generally those type of activities come from third parties and then they donate back to the department. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Plan and engineering topics, Director Fonzie.
Good evening. Okay, we had 4 items come through Planning Commission meeting last week, and that's what's in front of you today. The first is subdivision 3 of 2021. It's the Silvis and Sage boundary line revision. If you look on this screen, the blue parcel is owned by David and Christine Sage off of Sage Lane, which is coming off of Ardera Road. And the yellow parcel is owned by Joshua and Kimberly Silvis. What Mr. and Mrs. Sage would like to do is purchase 0.865 acres from the Silvises, and that's the light blue polygon. This is advantageous in 2 ways. The easement for Sage Lane actually runs through part of the Silvises' property. So this light blue shaded polygon will encompass that entire easement, which the Sages use to get to their house and I believe 2 other houses off of that private drive. And then Mr. Sage would also like the extra land to build an accessory structure, and this allows him to not infringe on any setbacks or anything. So after the boundary line revision, the Sage lot will be approximately 1.92 acres, and the Silvises will decrease to just over 49 acres. So the Planning Commission recommended this for approval with no conditions. Any questions on this one? Okay, the second subdivision we looked at is S4 2021, the Jacko Andrikowicz plan. and this is at the intersection of Ridge Road and Lynch Drive. The yellow parcel there is owned by Benita and Eugene Jacko, and they actually live in the corner lot right there where the cursor is. And the Andrakovich lot is the blue lot next to it. And what the Jackos want to do is, first of all, they want to create a new lot. So that's the green lot. They want to create, I think it's a little bit over 5 acres of size for, I believe it's their daughter's going to build a house on it. Their house is going to remain on the yellow lot there at the corner. So the new lot that they're creating has access on both Ridge and Lynch Drive. So it's not landlocked by any means. And then the balance of that lot is going to Mr. Andrakovich. So that's the light blue shaded lot at the top that's going to be appended to the darker blue. So after that, the Jacko's home lot on the yellow parcel is going to be 0.692 acres. The vacant lot for their daughter is going to be 5.701 acres. And then the Andrakovich lot will increase to 17.299 acres. And the Planning Commission recommended that for approval as well. Any questions on that one? Okay, the third subdivision was S5 2021, the Mountain Ridge Estates Revision 8. This is on Forest Oaks Trail. This is in a PRD, Planned Residential Development. And it involves 2 lots, and the developer is asking for setback relief on both lots. So the first one, 41RR, which is at the top of the screen, they're asking for a reduction of the 30-foot front building setback to be reduced to 22 feet. And part of the reason is there's a sanitary sewer easement sort of running through the meat of that lot. If you can see it coming through the center. So if they can put the house closer to the road, they gain that 8 feet where they can actually put a home footprint there, where they're not infringing on that sanitary easement. This type of action's been done in other PRDs, sort of adjusting the frontages and setbacks to adjust to the homes. The second one on 43AR, that's the first lot as you're coming up the hill on the right, and that red shaded area denotes a 20-foot side setback reduced from 40. When this PRD was originally laid out, the buffer around the entire area was at 40 feet. This is creating a problem because of the topography on this lot. The driveway is going to have to be at the eastern end, and it's really going to be a steep driveway, almost a switchback driveway. So if they can reduce that side setback to 20 feet instead of 40 feet, that allows them 20 extra feet to have the house footprint sit on there. So essentially, it's just to kind of squeeze 2 more houses in. After this, there's only 1 more vacant lot in the plan, and then Mountain Ridge Estates will be totally built out. Planning Commission recommended that for approval too. Any questions on that one? Okay. And the last one is Subdivision 7, 2021, Thomas Farm Acres. This is on Guffey Road at the site of the existing Kerber Farm. Knights Landing Incorporated has a sales agreement with Thomas and Ellen Kerber to develop approximately 2/3 of their existing farm. The Kerbers would retain approximately 1/3 to operate the dairy store, tube slides, and mini golf course, and then the rest would be used to create 61 single-family lots. The developer is asking for 3 waivers on this plan. The first is from, these are all from the Saldo. The first is from section 414.1, which states that sidewalks have to be installed in these residential developments. The applicant does not want to put in sidewalks, stating that about 75% of those sidewalks will be on slopes greater than 8%. The next waiver that they are seeking is from section 502.3.H.6, which states flag lots shall not be permitted within a proposed subdivision containing 5 or more lots. And the reason for this waiver is the original farmhouse, it's sort of tucked in this left corner down here, is sitting on a flag lot because essentially that's the only way to get them access to the newly proposed roads. other words, they'd have to go through the rear of these lots and push everything else forward. So this was just a way to kind of keep the original farmhouse, but give them access to the new road. And then the last waiver is section 515.1.A. And we discussed this last month. This refers to the concrete monument markers, and the markers on the outside of the subdivision. A previous survey was already done. So by law, the current developer is not allowed to pull those out or replace them, put a concrete monument there. Those flags have to stay there. I think they're iron pins right now. So what they're doing is they have to put a required amount. It's 1/3 of the total of the property corners. They're requesting if they can move those to the interior right-of-way of these roads. And what that does is it ensures that it won't get lost. It gives the surveyors a benchmark to come back, and if they have to replicate a survey, that's where they would go. So if it's on somebody's, rear property line or back corner, they wouldn't have permission to go seek it without the homeowner. If it's in the public right-of-way, they're able to access it. So that was the third waiver. There are a couple outstanding conditions that the applicant will need. PennDOT HOP for the driveway access on Guffey Road, because that's a state road. PennDOT's going to review site distance, things of that nature, and if there's utility work that has to be done in the right-of-way, that'll have to be a part of an HOP as well. Sewage planning is going to be needed. In fact, I just got signed documentation from NHTMA this week that I'll forward on to DEP with their application for those 61 new EDUs. Conservation District's going to have to look at the stormwater management and erosion control, and they'll have to sign a developer's agreement with the township and ensure that all conditions are satisfied from the review letter from KU Resources. And these are just some other shots of utility plans, and they're proposing 2 roads. The first road's a loop street, and then there'll be a smaller cul-de-sac sort of in the middle of the plan. Does anybody have any questions on this one?
The only flag lot's the original farmhouse.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Ryan. There's no old business on the agenda for tonight. Any further board comments?
Yeah, just one announcement. I talked to Shane at Rescue 8, and he wanted me to spread the word and for everyone else as well. On Tuesday at Calvary Church from 10 to 6, they'll be hosting a COVID vaccination with the Moderna shot. So if anyone's interested, they want to have a full house and make sure that every vaccine there gets used. So again, it's Tuesday at Calvary Church on PA Avenue from 10 to 6 o'clock.
Sorry. I did it again. How about I just turn it off, then I flip my pages? Hold on. I am good to go. 2 things I'd like to bring up. Tonight, so Pennswood Civic Association on Colonial Manor Road is going to host this coming Saturday, which is 17th of April, 2021, from 3 to 7 p.m. 5 food trucks are coming in from the surrounding areas. They're going to have foods like smoked meats, brisket, pulled pork, Chicago-style hot dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, tacos, chimney cakes, and kettle corn. So there is an open invitation to everybody and anybody. Please, again, that's this Saturday at the Pennswood Civic Association off of Colonial Manor. It's sandwiched in between Colonial Manor and Ormsby, and it's from 3 to 7 p.m. And that's the one issue I'd like to speak about. And then the second thing I'd like to talk to you guys about. Over the last 2 days, I spent time with the North Huntington Township Municipal Authority at the Youghiogheny Sewer Plant. Man, is that place impressive. If you get a chance to go out there and take a look at what they do and how they process sewage, you know, after the sewage is processed, that water is not recycled back into your toilets. So if you have a dog or a cat that likes your toilet water, it's okay to let them drink it. because the word on the street is it's the water that's already been processed and it's fresh. So good to know. Now, the second thing is also good to know. The fish in the Youghiogheny River from the sewer plant down have to be extremely happy, because here's why. They get that water tested, and you guys happen to know that there is also, they have an in-house laboratory at that sewage facility, which is just state-of-the-art. I'll tell you, honest to God, I'm so impressed. The water that the sewage plant puts out into the Youghiogheny is cleaner than the water that's up above the discharge point. Does that make sense? Everybody understand what I'm saying? So with that said, I would like to tell you guys that the tour with Mike Brandhoover, the general manager, and Chris Sanner, the system superintendent, again, was phenomenal, unbelievable. And I would like to also say that today I spent time with their administrative folks over there. And I'd like to say Shanna, Kelly, Christy, Annette, and Lisa. Super job on all that they do, and I'm happy to provide you guys with, there hasn't been a rate hike in 9 years, except for in 2016. Something happened out there with WWMA and the North Huntington Township Municipal. Now, it should be noted too that an auditor came through for the North Huntington Township Municipal Authority, and you know what? Craig, doggone it. Hey guys, Craig's also one of the good folks down there. Brother, sorry for that. Thanks for giving me that 3-mile stare. Let me know, I'm sorry. So they had an auditor come through, and he said that NHTMA is one of the top 5 municipal authorities in the state of Pennsylvania. That's right here in our own backyard. What a testament to our community. Now, there's also additional plans, as people might know, that to expand the plant, making it a state-of-the-art facility. Now, here's the beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. NHTMA will not have a rate increase to offset the new expense of a $34 to $35 million facility. There will not be a rate height increase because of that. And NHTMA is very, very proud of that. Also, NHTMA would like to also grant us the opportunity, or give us the opportunity, for them to handle the billing for MS4. So we could do it in-house, where we wouldn't have to go outside to an outside agency to assist us. Now, Jeff, I don't have full understanding of MS4, but it's nice to know that they're offering to help. By not having an outside agency, if there would be one involved, we could save so much money for the taxpayers. And the willingness to help would be a no-brainer, and it's a win-win for everybody. So kudos to NHTMA, for all you folks out there, firefighters, those present and those that have served in the past. God bless you all. Thank you for your great service to this community, and I pray that you guys remain safe. So thank you. That's all I have.
Any other further board comments tonight? No, I just need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor by state and aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:57. Executive session to follow.